Hey Seb, what we're going to do in this video is just go through some stuff that I wanted to look at with you in your lesson at the weekend. It's minor pentatonic scale, we're looking at doing some soloing, getting your scales and your lead guitar sort of on its way, you know. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to learn the D minor pentatonic scale, just one octave of it. It goes like this. Down. What I've done is write that down there, so have a look at that. I hope you can see it alright in the camera. And the way I've written it down here, you see the actual degrees of the scale that you're playing. So when you see R, that's the root note, i.e. the D in this case, but obviously you can move it around. 4, the 4th, the 5th, the flat 7 and the flat 3rd. If you're not entirely sure what all that means, don't worry, I'll explain that to you next time I see you. But just try and learn that pattern and get to grips with what degree of the scale you're playing. So try and know I'm on the 4th, I'm on the 5th, I'm on the flat 7, or wherever else you happen to be. Because then when you learn it in other places, as you'll see in a minute, you can apply stuff you've learned in one position to anywhere else that you play it. So the first thing to do is just get to grips with that and just play around with it. Click on the first link I've sent you. It's a blues backing track that you can use to just practice it along to. Like this. And so on and so on and so on. Now, because that's just one octave of the scale and we're not doing a lot with it, it's just playing the scale as you find it, it's going to start to sound a bit boring quite quickly. So what we're going to do is start to stick in some other things that you can do with that scale. So when you get the flat 3rd, there's the root, there's a flat 3rd. What I'm going to do is just sharpen that up to the major 3rd or the natural 3rd. And use that while you're using the rest of the scale. And so on. So let's put that on our little chart. There we go. 3rd. And I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, there you go, there's a 3rd. Oh yeah, that's it. I tend to come up with it from underneath. So, like that, but you can just play it. However you want, really, play around with it. The other thing we're going to do is put a passing note in between the 4th and the 5th. So here. And again, build that into your scale. So let's just jot that down. We'll call that the flat 5th. We should call it the sharpened 4th, but we won't. And there you go, flat 5th in between the 4 and 5. So now, let's play around with all of those. You're starting to get a lot more colour and different tones going by using those notes. So then again, stick your backing track on and have a play around. And so on and so on and so on and so on. And just play with it and play with it and play with it. And people always want to learn like scales all over the fretboard and try and learn too much at once. But it's a much better idea to just get one simple little pattern like that and try and do everything you possibly can with it. Restrict yourself when you're practicing, you're improvising, and then it'll make you think about what you're doing rather than just flying around notes all over the place. When I was at uni, what they did is make us play, like they'd say you can only use these 3 notes and stuff like that, and we'd have to improvise doing that, or you'd have like 2 beats on, 4 beats off, and that sort of thing. It really makes you think about what you're doing and learn how to apply this rather than just mindlessly going over scales. Now, once you've got all that down, and that's a lot of work, don't get me wrong, you know, that's plenty of practice there, but once you've got that, you can then move it up, and we'll learn the next octave up. So it's the same notes again. I'll show you the thing actually. There we go, that's what we're going to do now. It's the same notes, it's the root, flat 7, flat 3rd, 4th, 5th, flat 7 root. Just everything's just moved up an octave. So let's have a look at that. We can do exactly the same things there, putting in the sharpening 3rd, and putting in that chromatic note as well. So on and so on. Put your backing track on, have a play around with it. Actually, you don't need me to show you how to play around with the backing track. Once you've got the hang of that, and again that's a lot of work, you know, don't try and rush it too fast. Then try and put the 2 together, and then you get this really nice pattern where you'll go that you can use for improvising. And because it naturally moves up and down the fretboard, it's really, really nice, and it keeps the interest going. Because what a lot of people tend to do is learn a box pattern and then get stuck in that box pattern, and that just sounds boring. Now, if you click on the second link I've emailed you, it's another blues backing track. It's another one that says it's in D minor, but actually it's in D major. And this one's just a bit more fun. It's harder because it moves faster. That first one's easy because it's quite slow. But this one's a bit more fun, but it's just a bit harder. I'll show you. I'll just try and put all of that together now with this other backing track. Can I say, I'm not actually the best lead guitarist in the world, so if I do fluff it up, just bear with me. And so on and so on. There's one more backing track I've got for you as well, which you click on the 3rd link. It's basically, it's Nirvana's Lithium, but someone's made a backing track out of it, and it's really nice. You can have loads of fun with this one. So let's just have a little look at that, and then there's one more thing I want to show you before I sign off. So on and so on and so on and so on.